Mr. Kelvin, Mr. Syed Sadiq, and Ms. Debbie, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you, and thank you for the earlier speakers as well. I'm very happy to note that Zinu was talking about Kampa. We actually had the opportunity to cycle around there. I'll show you guys a little bit.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Sadiq, but can you please raise your hands? Yeah, just so that the spotlight is on you.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, as an older person, I was going to raise my hands physically. So here I go. I'm just going to share the screen and let me know if you guys can actually see that. Is it clear? Okay, great. So Project 57, we have a tagline that we call a movement of hope. And the reason why we call it that is because we feel that, especially the target market that we're looking at, the youths, and how we as well, as the people who set this organization up, feel that Malaysians have lost hope and always feel that the grass is greener on the other side. So here in our project, what we do is, when you think of Project 57, think of unity and think of patriotism, inspiring patriotism, because a lot of Malaysians feel that they're not proud to be Malaysian. Okay, let me just... It was set up together with my business partner, Colin Sui. And what we bring to the landscape, because as well in this room, we're also talking about startups, right? Is that we both have been in business together. So what we do is, in setting up Project 57 as a company, as a startup, and of course, the business model that we picked is a social enterprise business for impact, is that we bring our experience in running a business. So instead of just looking at, trying to set it up, we took whatever experiences we had and whatever during our journey to be able to look at what we can put in and infuse into Project 57 for it to become a successful business. So we set it up in 2015. And the whole point about being a social enterprise is that you have to be sustainable. And I think, for us to have been operating for that long, we've proven that we are sustainable, thankfully. Let me just go to the next slide. And what is it that we do? So Project 57, just in a nutshell, so that you get an idea, is that we advocate patriotism. We talk about diversity. We talk about Malaysians. We don't just talk about, we talk about how it is that Malaysians need to better understand one another and what the problems are. Then the reason why we set it up is because we looked at the trajectory of the country, especially in terms of race relations, understanding amongst races was, is heading in the wrong direction. We are not, in a sense, in the worst place or a bad place, but the trajectory is not right. So what do we have to do? We actually have to do something. So instead of just, in a sense, talking about it at the Kedai Kopi and complaining about it, we wanted to not just be part of the conversation, we wanted to create the topic for the conversation. So that's why we set up Project 57. We empower youth through nation building activities, and we focus a lot on the values that our Rukun Negara carries. So I'm sure all of us remember our Rukun Negara and how many times we used to read it in school, but do we actually menghayati what the Rukun Negara actually says? Because the Rukun Negara is almost something which is really perfect in a society and in a world that we live in now, which is so diverse and so global. And again, we're one of the first 22 social enterprises that were accredited by the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. And we've also received an award, as you guys saw in the earlier presentation. So again, I talked about trajectory, what are the problems? And this is something that is not unique to Malaysia. This is a problem that we see worldwide. For some reason, as we become more global, people become more protective of what they are, what their values are. And sometimes their values may be totally wrong. So, we see extremist views, we see racial polarization, religious tensions. When we should actually be in a world where we have so much information, we should actually be even better prepared how to handle things. And yet we're going further apart. And I think the pandemic hasn't helped either, because physically now we're also away from each other. So this is something that we focus on with regards to Malaysia. And as I said earlier, we complain about things. We're not happy about something. And I think Hafiz as well at the start, he was talking about it and saying that, don't worry about it, just go ahead and do it. And that's the point. So we thought about it and we decided to do it. We want to be part of this conversation. Be the change that you want to see. And don't think that, oh, I don't have the capability to do it. And they always say that only crazy people can change the world, right? You know, normal people just chug along. So we decided to, like, you know, subscribe to these values that in order to do this, we have to be crazy. And we wanted to make sure that we take part in that. We borrow a lot from this man. I think most of us here would know who this man is. Our first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman, just in case nobody knows, you know. And he has said so many profound things. And I always tell people when I give talks and all of that, that we memorize what American presidents have said. We don't even know what our first Prime Minister has said. And this is one of his most famous quotes. And I'm guilty as well. So you're not just the only one. Okay. Our future depends on how well many different kinds of people can live and work together. We use this a lot. We use it in all sorts of our material and all. And the whole point is that this applies to everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're Malaysian, whether you're not Malaysian, it applies. It's so important, so relevant. In 1957, it was relevant. Suddenly, in 2021, it's even more relevant for us to remember this. So how are we a business, right? You know, we talk about startup, we talk about emotions, we talk about unity, you know, how are we a business? So we want to inspire patriotism. And what we do is we create a range of merchandise, not just t-shirts. These are some of the products that we make. We also make notebooks, we make ribbons, you will see a little bit, we make tote bags, and all of these items and all, which we feel that we found, you know, a unique way of designing them and styling them, have become very popular. And also the fact that every single one of the items that we sell, anything that comes to our production line, all profit go towards serving or supporting the underprivileged, whether it's through education programs or supporting their livelihood. And just to share with you guys a little bit. So these are some of the things that, you know, people ask us actually what inspires you. Now, these images that you see here is what inspires us. We work a lot with youth, we work a lot with universities, and this is the thing that makes us and keeps us going. Because, you know, you always wonder, is it okay? You know, are the youths ready? And I have to say the youths are ready, because my generation, or Debbie and my generation, we all messed things up. And now we're leaving it to you because we became complacent. And this is the chance for you guys to actually, you know, we know that we're in good hands, knowing that you guys are so well equipped and well informed. Some of the people we work with, these are our Orang Asli youth that have come in and out of our program. You know, and please remember, when you start up a business and you need to get your message out there, you must get your message out there. Don't just keep it inside. Okay, so that's why it's very important. And don't think that mainstream is not important. Mainstream media gives you so much credibility. Through the work that we've done, you know, alhamdulillah, we've been recognized, you know, by certain education institutions. They've given us and awarded us scholarships. And I'll be frank with you, we didn't ask for it. They offered it to us, and our Orang Aslis in some cases have benefited through these awards. So yeah, so this is our Unity ride in 2017. We went all over Malaysia and we cycled, and Kampa was one of the places which is so beautiful, I have to say. The hills and the mountains and all of that, the limestone is fantastic. Like I said just now, you must get your story out there. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, share it with others. Do not just keep it with yourself. And mainstream is important, but we also use a lot of digital. Some people surprised us, you know, one day wearing our t-shirts, and this is a free advertisement in the Star for us. We were like shocked, but very, very happy. If you haven't heard of some of our projects, but you might have maybe heard of the Unity Ribbon. So the Unity Ribbon is our small ticket item, which we've sold almost 300,000 ribbons, and they are made by Orang Aslis. They get paid for making the ribbons. And then when we sell the ribbons, all the profit go towards empowerment programs again, and supporting the underprivileged that are in our program. These are just some designs for you guys to see. And the Unity ribbon symbolizes something that is very important in Malaysia, that no matter how different we are, and even in this room right now, right, we're all, you know, everyone's a bit different, but our aspirations for our country is the same. And that's something that we all have to hold on to. Aspirasi kami semua sama. Itu yang paling penting. And that's why we use Rukun Negara as our compass. So just a little bit more of images. These are some of the Orang Asli kids and also the non-Orang Asli kids at the Unity workshop that we do, where we make ribbons. This is us with the whole gang, mixing everybody up. And again, the unity ribbon, getting some coverage and all. And we don't pay anything for press, just to be clear. We actually, people actually want to cover us. So we feel very blessed to have the media that is always ready to support us. This is our project with University Malaya. So, we cannot just be talking about, things which are kind of like in the air. So we actually have programs that are, and dialogue sessions with university students, and we get wonderful speakers to come and talk and actually share, what their views are with regards to, the issues surrounding unity in Malaysia and where we are heading. Now, I'm going to end on this one so that I give an opportunity to Debbie to actually speak. Now, people always ask as well, right, what inspires us? And I said the youth. Yes, these are our two Orang Asli youth that really inspire us. Farah didn't have formal education. She came into us as a retail trainee. And through the retail trainee program, she told Debbie one day, I want to study SPM. She had no formal education. She got 5 credits for SPM. She's now in her second year of university through our program to be able to, finish her degree in accounting. So this is something that, we are very happy and very, very proud of. These are the people that inspire us. All you need is the will to be able to do and feel that you can and believe in yourself. Okay, so I'm going to hand you over to Debbie. Debbie, it's all yours.
Thank you, Sadiq. And yes, good morning to everyone. I was just a little bit shocked to see our ages reflected on the slide in very big letters. But,
Debbie, both of us are almost 100 if we add it together.
I know, right? Okay. Anyway, so pleased to be with all of you. And Sadiq has shared on why we do what we do. And I thought I'll just share a little bit on, like during many of our projects, events, our campaigns, we are often asked whether we can change Malaysia, right? And whether there is hope. And we are always say yes. And I mean, people think we're idealistic, but I thought I wanted to share why we think that the answer is still yes. And with you guys as a bunch of change makers, I think you are the ones, you have the power in your hands, right? Okay, so why? Because Malaysia is really a young country, right? I mean, Sadiq and I may be old, but we're still younger than the 64 years from independence and 58 years from the day that Sabah and Sarawak joined the Federation to become Malaysia. And like what Sadiq mentioned, racism and racial conflict is not an issue faced only in Malaysia, but really it is a global threat to humanity, right? In 2019, Project 57, we were actually invited to attend the International Conference on Cohesive Societies hosted by the Singapore government and also their president, Halimah Yacob. And at that time, if you guys remember, there was the terror attack on the mosque in New Zealand by a Christian extremist that had just happened. And at this, conference, 1,000 delegates from 40 countries, spanning Europe, Middle East, and Asia attended at the full expense of the Singapore government who paid for all the air flight tickets and 5-star hotels. But the importance of it is what I'm trying to emphasize, because everybody came together from all these different parts, continents, to discuss issues relating to the global attack on interfaith harmony, mutual respect, and trust. And at Project 7, we really believe that in Malaysia, although we may be a young country, we have a head start actually, in that part of our national identity, which is already somewhat multicultural and which features what some people call Bangsa Malaysia. That as Malaysians, we have lived, from different backgrounds, we have lived together actually in peace for many years. And I believe that, all of us, especially you young people, like what Sadiq said, the older fellas, we've made a mess of things, right? But the fight for a Bangsa Malaysia is with you guys, right? As the youths. And it is a long-term fight, which could take, 1 or 2 decades, right? But we should pursue it. And the question then is, where do we start, right? Firstly, in my humble opinion, right, actually it begins with each one of us as individuals. National reconciliation, right, of different people from different religious and racial backgrounds, actually we need to begin with forgiveness. Why? Because we actually hold prejudices, right, against one another. And not just us, like we always expect others to ask for our forgiveness, but actually it starts with us taking the first step to ask for forgiveness. And most of us are members of a spiritual community, right, in Malaysia. We have our own beliefs, but the religions of the world, actually, they do hold something in common. And that is a commandment to show compassion and respect for one another. So at that conference, I was inspired, right, when King Abdullah of Jordan, he gave his keynote speech. And then he said that in Islam, the compassionate is among the beautiful names of God, and that in his compassion and mercy, God requires that we in turn show compassion and mercy and live in peace. And in Christianity, which is my faith, we are also commanded, right, to love one another. So with all these, and I mean, of course, in Buddhism and the other religions as well, we are also to show compassion and mercy, right, to each other as human beings. So with all these teachings and values, we need to live together side by side. We need to look beyond ourselves to others and try to correct those prejudices and even fears, right, in the way that we look at others. And secondly, so Sadiq and I, as older people, as parents, we of course have influence over our families and our children. But you guys, youths, you are the future of the nation, and you also have influence, right, amongst your own peers. And all of you are usually on social media so much these days. And social media is taken as a tool, usually, right, to promote, or, when something negative or confrontational happens, wow, then the news spreads so fast. But, we can use it for positive narratives. And what we can start doing really are small acts of kindness, I think, to people of other backgrounds. So instead of shying away, can we, right, move forward and engage just with small acts of kindness? So I'm going to stop here. And, Sadiq was talking about our Orang Asli, who also came together to make the unity ribbon. So I'm going to show a video of how they felt being part of the community that made the unity ribbons. And I will just want to end by saying that, we are made up of so many beautiful and diverse cultures. And I really hope that we will be able to enjoy each other. And even as we go out and be change makers, like what Sadiq always says, let's focus on what we have in common, right, irrespective of our backgrounds, and focus on what is positive, right? Okay, I'm going to share that video, and let's see, how do I do that? Share sound. Okay. Is it playing? Is it playing?
Saya berasa teruja kerana ini kali pertama saya membuat ribbon bersama kawan baru saya di sini.
Bila saya buat unity ribbon bersama kawan-kawan, saya rasa seronok dan gembira.
Kami belajar di tempat ini, ada yang datang dari kaum Cina, India, dari suku Orang Asli, bahkan dari kalangan orang Sabah sendiri. Dan semasa kami membuat ribbon itu, kami dapat mengeratkan silaturahim di antara kami.
Semasa saya di kampung, saya tidak tahu apa itu marka kami rakyat Malaysia. Setelah saya join Unity Ribbon, saya rasa saya bangga sebab saya rakyat Malaysia, walaupun saya orang asli suku kaum Semelai.
They learn the value of unity when they sit down and make the ribbon together. So it is very meaningful.
Ia ada makna yang sangat mendalam bagi negara kita.
Untuk memahami betapa pentingnya unity itu di tanah air kita yang tercinta ini.
Ini memberikan saya satu semangat untuk lebih memahami antara satu dengan yang lain.
We are not only doing it, we are actually sharing something.
Simbol unity ribbon ini adalah semangat cinta dan sayangkan negara kita Malaysia.
We can feel the real unity. It's actually there.
Saya merasa bangga.
Saya menggalakkan kepada semua rakyat Malaysia
untuk menyertai pergerakan Unity Ribbon
supaya kita dapat mengeratkan perpaduan di antara kita semua.
Thank you so much. And back to you, Grace.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sadiq and Ms. Debbie. What an inspiring speech, and hopefully it will give all of us the necessary push to be a change maker too. So now